Oil tankers and refineries are at risk in the Middle East after the U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iran. This oil tanker was set on fire by a strike in the Strait of Hormuz. About 20% of the world's oil goes through that vital waterway. Iran's goal is to disrupt oil exports from the region, which could have a big economic impact around the world. With us now are CBS Saturday Morning co-host and Adriana's partner, Kelly O'Grady, and CBS News national security contributor, Sam Vinograd. We welcome you both. Sam, I want to start with you because you worked on Iran policy under the Bush, Obama, and now Biden administrations. And now I think many people are now worried about possible attacks on U.S. soil. How are you processing that? How concerned should we be?
Well, the Iranian regime has posed a significant threat to the homeland for decades. I do think that threat has been supercharged in the last few days, but the level of retaliation is probably going to depend on whether there's any kind of command and control structure left within the regime, and if regime remnants feel like they have an off-ramp with the Trump administration, or this is it. In terms of tactics and targets, the regime has historically relied on individuals it's paid, recruited, and inspired and planted here in the homeland to conduct physical violence against government officials, against Iranian dissidents, against individuals and entities associated with the state of Israel and more. More recently, though, and this is interesting, the regime has really doubled down on cyber operations, using aggressive cyber attacks against government networks and other critical infrastructure.
Is that your biggest concern right now, cyber?
I'm very concerned about cyber attacks because we have such broad exposure against critical infrastructure networks and against private citizen scale. And this is where really we talk a lot about the government response and government preparedness to regime retaliation, but everyday Americans, all of our viewers, have to be on heightened alert right now to phishing campaigns, to links they don't recognize, because the Iranians are going to try to get into our networks to both influence public perception and to cause disruptions.
Sam, how else should Americans try to keep themselves safe? Should we avoid going to crowded areas or big events or, landmarks?
Well, I do say this from experience. The government has been working for decades to counter this threat. They've been preparing. We have so many active investigations that were underway even before what happened with Operation Epic Fury. So the government relies on partnerships in a situation like this, partnerships to increase intelligence collection with foreign partners, partnerships with businesses, Gayle, to make sure that their resilience to potential cyber intrusions are strong, and partnerships with the public. If you see something, say something. And everybody in this moment needs to be on heightened alert and to reach out to government officials if they see something suspicious and to maintain extra vigilance. I
was in the airport this weekend. I feel like my head's on a swivel. It just seems so unsettling to me.
For sure.
Well, there are heightened patrols.
Yeah.
We have a physical deterrent presence out there to tell bad actors, if you act, you probably may not be successful. But what's happening behind the scenes is important, that enhanced intelligence collection, enhanced surveillance, and more.
Kelly, let me ask you about the economics here. The military conflict has already squeezed access in the Strait of Hormuz, where we know a fifth of the world's oil comes through the oil markets. When they opened last night, down 10%. Watching the stock markets, not looking good this morning. What do you think this will mean for the U.S. economy and the global economy, the economic impact here?
So it's all about the oil prices. So they're up about 8% right now, the price per barrel, because remember, this is all about supply and demand economics, right? You decrease your supply, your prices are going to go up. And so it's not just about the Strait of Hormuz, by the way. We are also seeing infrastructure being targeted overnight in Saudi Arabia. So this is a large-scale thing. And if you think about what happened in a worst-case scenario, we could see oil spike above $100 a barrel. I don't want to fearmonger here, though, because that would be in a long-scale operation, and it would depend on the extent of Iran's sort of retaliation. But if it does, think back what happened during the Russia-Ukraine war. We saw prices go above $100 a barrel. Gas prices spiked here. And we also saw that as a big contributor to the inflation crisis. Why? Because it's not just about gas prices. How does everything that we get to us? It's on trucks. Right. And when oil prices go up, so do diesel prices. So there are so many different secondary effects. But again, there's a lot of moving puzzle pieces.
So, but you mentioned the price of oil up 8% this morning. So what happens if that continues to spike? And what could that mean for just pocketbooks here at home?
Well, gas prices, and like I said, you could see other things go up because of those diesel prices, but it's going to be a slow creep. This is not, we're going to see it above $100 a barrel tomorrow. So I think we just kind of all need to take a breath. And
what can the government do then to mitigate that, though?
Well,
while we're taking our deep breaths.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could tap the strategic petroleum reserves. That is something that President Biden did do, but faced criticism for doing that because it's not about bringing gas prices down. That's about keeping supply when we are in very dire straits, which we are not right now. Right. And you've also seen OPEC, which is the coalition of a number of national oil producers, Iran being one of them, decide to boost output. And if you boost output, that means your supply is, increased, your prices come down. Right. But again, you're not going to lean into any of those until we really see what the long-term effects are going to be.
And some of that output has to go through the Strait of Hormuz.
Exactly.
We'll see how it all goes. Kelly O'Grady, Sam Vinograd, thank you both so much.